Hey, what's going on, guys? FullFrontage here. Today, bringing you guys a Brawl Stars video, and I have two very special guests, one familiar face and the support face behind Brawl Stars. I have Dani and Chris joining me on the channel for another episode of Behind Brawl Stars. How's it going, guys?
Sorry. Good start. I'm going great, and thank you for asking. And I brought Chris this time because, of course, it's a topic that I'm not entirely sure or I don't feel entitled to discuss about it. So Chris, introduce yourself please to our players.
Yes, hey, my name is Chris. I've worked with Supercell for 3.5 years now, and I am in charge of most of the contacts that we get through player support for Brawl Stars.
Awesome. So pleasure to have you guys on the channel. Dani back on the channel. So we're going to be talking about the support in Brawl Stars. So to kick things off, we'll start with the basic question. There's a lot of talks going around about teaming in Showdown, in solo showdowns, and players throwing games, like scoring on their own goal in Brawl Ball. Is there any consideration to add in a report player button into the game?
Yes, we've always thought about this for a long time now, and we just keep going through iterations of what we can do and what's fair for all our players. We haven't actually come across anything that is concrete enough to that we're satisfied with to give our players a really good experience in game and the ability to actually report those who are doing not so cool stuff while we're playing. I guess the worst stuff, own goals in Brawl Ball, teaming in Showdown, that sort of stuff. We're working on them very individually, but I think we'll get close pretty soon to a good solution for at least one of the game modes. I can't say much more because I don't really have the information on hand. So yes.
Okay, so it'll be kind of slowly rolled out into the game. Like you said, like your first iteration could just include for one game mode.
Yeah, because we have to introduce it where the biggest impacts are, I think, to get the best results, right? We hear the community, we definitely know it, and we can definitely see from the tickets that are created as well, where the passion lies. And it's a difficult balancing act, like I said. So I think we'll focus on the most impacted ones first.
Yeah, you mentioned tickets. Are a lot of the tickets that come in on a daily basis sometimes centered around trying to report a player for doing something in game?
Yeah, it changes from week to week, but on a whole, it does come across quite strongly as well. So I think it's definitely something that we're looking into, and we want to resolve sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and for the first iteration, would it be like a prompt system? Like you have a set, or the players will have a set selection of answers or options to choose from when reporting a player, or is it like you have 500 characters to explain what's happening, kind of thing?
I don't think it'll be anything with a lot of text and typing reasons and things like that, because that can easily also be equally abused in the wrong ways. Let's say Brawl Ball, for example. We would probably take the data from the matches and check who's scoring the most own goals over a set amount of time, and then draw a line in the sand and make a decision on, okay, these people are over the line. It would actually, enforce some rules to make sure that the playing field is fair, let's say. Yeah.
Awesome.
What we're going to do exactly is still to be determined because we're not there yet.
Right. So when updates come out and everything like that, is there like a certain portal for players to go in the support section to report bugs that they might be having with the update?
Yeah, so there is a menu selection where you can actually go and list your bug or the bugs that you're experiencing in the game. Typically, a lot of people come through after or during or after the update, and like they tell us something's not working, something feels a little bit overpowered, or just general feedback on how they thought a mechanic was supposed to work. So, for example, the last one, we had a lot of reports on the underdog system not working from the last update. And so we got enough information from our players who made reports in that we actually managed to find the reason for the cause and get it fixed with the maintenance. And it was like, I think it was like 2 or 3 days after the update had been released. So that sort of reporting is really, really important for the support team and for the game team to know what's going on or what you're experiencing, so they can fix it if it's unintended. And it's actually affecting the overall balance or the overall enjoyment players are having with the game. So keep up the bug reports. That's something that we definitely want to keep seeing our players do, and they've done great so far. So
that's awesome. So
number one.
Cool.
And they definitely do also tag Dani, Ryan, just so that we can corroborate and between what the community are saying on social media and what our players are writing tickets in about. And often we can draw parallels between the two. And it just means that the bugs get spotted faster and they get fixed faster. That's the way it should be. And it's working great, so keep it up.
Awesome. For the next question, how many support tickets usually comes in a day?
Lots. I can't give exact numbers, but they're definitely well in the thousands.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have quite a big team, but then obviously still we need to have a better, faster solution for our players, and that's why we have bots to answer tickets too. But that's only part of the story. I think just having so many tickets come in for Brawl a day, we have to really focus on what other players asking, and what is the best solution for them to get that answer that they're seeking. So we have like real live agents, and then we do have some bots as well to take care of some more pressing needs that don't need to be interacted with our support agents.
Right. When you get a lot of the same question, is there like a turnaround time that it takes to put it in like a frequently asked question and like program the bot to be able to handle something of that matter?
It does depend. We have typically narrowed down a lot of the most frequently asked questions. But then, there's just so many questions out there that people have that we don't have an answer for everything. So a lot of it does still get handled manually.
Cool. Just a little funny question here. How many people message support asking about Brawl Talk?
Well, funny thing is leading up to Brawl Talk, it's insane. It is like a lot of questions start off in a different direction and then finish with so when is Brawl Talk question, to which we try to sort of encourage our player base who do ask the question, just keep your eyes on Reddit and social media and listen out for Dani or Ryan saying something cool, or giving little sneak peeks. But yeah, it happens every time. We always notice the anticipation of all our players, and they love it, and they get super excited.
It must be a good feeling though, knowing that that many people are that excited that they just message support asking about update sneak peeks.
Yeah, it's really crazy, but it's also really cool to see. Like I've never experienced this sort of passion with a player base before Brawl, at least anyway. So
Yeah.
I think we got something special going on here.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Brawl community is definitely something else. They're pretty amazing. Kind of going back to update stuff. Do people message support also, or like giving suggestions or ideas?
Yeah, not as much as we used to get.
Okay.
We used to get a lot more in, say, like a year ago. But I think we started telling a lot of the players to actually put their thoughts and their ideas out there on social media,
Right.
On Reddit. And now Frank is super active on Twitter
Yes.
as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. So follow him and ask him questions.
At Frank Supercell. At Dani Supercell. Yeah. R. Layton.
But
Yeah.
and actually, like, I just want to put out there that when they put something on Twitter and they tag me, I actually read. I think I read everything that they tag me, but of course I can't answer them all. Like, it's too much. But I'm always reading what they say.
Yeah. No, I think out of like any of the games that I've ever played, like Supercell is like the most active on, like, even if they don't respond to everything on social media, because I'm sure you guys get thousands or hundreds of thousands daily, weekly, all that stuff. But knowing that you guys are doing things like this behind Brawl Stars and also responding to the community, and even when you don't answer certain things, the things that are the community's questions are being answered in updates of suggestions and things like that. So it's very apparent that you guys are super active behind the scenes. So I think that's just absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
So for the next one, are there certain categories assigned to certain people in the support team, or is it just kind of whichever person is available to answer first?
No, we don't have queues like that for certain categories, I guess you could say. We sort of have like pools of tickets that just come in by language. So if anything, we separate by language.
Okay.
But it's basically the first ticket in gets assigned to a group within a language, and then from there it just gets distributed that way across all the tickets we receive.
Cool. A little bit of a side. Is it like that? Is the same pool of agents available to all Supercell games, or is it divided into games?
A bit of both.
Okay.
The majority is divided by game because we prefer to have specialists.
Right.
And those who have a tendency to follow sort of more PvP games are more suited to games like Brawl rather than like a Heyday sort of game is a little bit different, and you got to be a different sort of person to play that game and to understand how it works. Like it's a temperament thing, but mostly yes, like we just separate by game, and then in occasions where some places or some languages are not as popular, then we may have them covering multiple games at the same time.
That makes sense. Yeah. So for the next question, with COVID-19 happening and everything, lots of people are having connection issues. And Dani and Frank did a Behind Brawl Stars episode recently talking about those connection issues. What has the support team done to kind of help players understand why they might be having those issues?
I guess go watch the video, because basically we don't have a solution, because we can't fix internet, like we can fix
Right.
a particular problem that's happening to a particular player. It's very dependent on what's happening to the region, and of course, like with the situation we are living now, a lot of people are using more internet in like different times, like when they're supposed to be working, now they're consuming more Netflix, anything. And of course, like the connection is not as great as before. So I guess go watch the video that me and Frank had with Arc, because it explains a lot of things there. Like I think it's so big that Arc is dividing in 3, so there will be 3
Wow.
episodes. Yeah, it's very complex. So that's why we can't, like, if support would answer that in one ticket, it will be like a massive text, like with all the possibilities that could be your problem. So I guess there's no point on doing that.
No, it's there's a lot of factors that play, but we have always received issues about lag or tickets complaining about lag or bad network while there's full bars on this or on that. But to be honest, every case is different. Every player has a different set of devices that they use.
Right.
They're in a different region, so the network is different there. And yeah, it's like a lot of variables to play. So all we can actually advise players is to, stating the obvious, but don't play on Wi-Fi while you're streaming. Like don't play in tunnels or in like sort of blackout zones. I don't know, like it happens. But players, like a lot of them don't understand the intricacies of networking, and I don't. Like it's a lot of it is just mumbo jumbo. But it's there's a lot of concrete sort of proof and to make sure that we've got the best experience and the best network available for our players, but we can't control their devices and their network connections on their end. So that's all we say in the tickets as well. And with COVID-19, not much has changed except for the bandwidth problems that some countries are facing, which means that they can't play Brawl as well.
Right.
But that's out of our hands also. So
yeah, is there like a set amount of like increased tickets that you've seen since all this has been happening? Like, is it more common now than it was before?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. It's been pretty stable and hasn't changed much at all. But I think one thing important there, while we're on the subject of COVID-19, is that we've also had to remodel our agent teams across the globe, and they also need to work from home. So with that is also delays and things like that, that we never prepared for, but we're just sort of reacting and dealing with it now.
So since like we are doing this video, I would like to mention because I receive a lot of those questions where it wasn't supposed to be, like they shouldn't be asking me. But like if they lose an account, like support is like this brilliant bot that can actually recover your account without you having to talk to an actual agent. You can do that all automatically. Of course, like the agent, it verifies at the end, right? But you can recover it very fast. So if you lost your account, please contact support. You can recover it very fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can also vouch for that because I have lost an account and I did contact support and I got it back and it was very easy.
So if a player loses an account, what they should do?
Okay. So first thing is to go into your settings of Brawl Stars and hit that help and support button. And then go into the account category. From there, you'll be able to contact us and choose the option that says lost my account or lost account. And then from there, you can just answer the quick questions that the bot will ask you. And then you'll be well on your way to getting your account recovered automatically. That's often the fastest way. Make sure, though, that you always give as accurate answers as you can. So things like your player ID or your player tag, the account name, obviously, if you were in a club or not, and how many trophies roughly you were around. So if you answer these correctly, we can actually get the process kicked off very quickly without you having to even wait for very long. However, if there is a process, or if there is a step that you've done, you've answered incorrectly, it will get handed over to an agent who will assess the account and the case manually for you. If we find out that the account has been compromised for one reason or another, or your details don't match the account, we will lock that account, and multiple requests will end up with a ban. Just so everybody out there knows, account security is of the utmost importance to us in the support team. We just don't want people losing their accounts. We don't want people playing someone else's account. It's a very special, precious thing that you need to really, really guard and secure. So that means don't share emails, don't share, like passwords, especially. Like that is like the number one rule in people losing their accounts, is that they've shared something like their email or their passwords, and then they want to get their accounts back. So in those instances, yes, just be careful and make sure your answers are as accurate as you can remember, or as accurate as you know.
So for locked accounts, that's the thing. I also get like contact.
No surprises, Dani.
So what they should do is basically the same thing, right?
Yeah, so we lock the account when we don't know who the owner is, or if someone's requested ownership of an account that we can clearly see is not theirs, or we just don't have enough information to know if it is really theirs or not, based on the answers they provided, like I said earlier. So the first thing that does when your account is locked is that you'll see a pop-up in the game, and there'll be a button there that says contact support. So if you contact support, then you'll go through and then we'll actually ask you some verification questions. Also very important to answer these with as much accuracy as possible. That way we can actually verify that you truly do own that account, and that we can actually unlock it for you and give you back your account in a short amount of time. But once again, like I said, if you keep getting your account locked successively, or multiple times, then that's also grounds for us to be very suspicious and wondering, asking questions like, why is this account being locked consistently? And then we may have to, worst case scenario, permanently ban that account.
One thing that they also contact me for is like they are asking for brawlers, for skins. Could you tell us a bit what they shouldn't do when contact support?
Well, I mean, like it's very difficult to tell people not to do something and expect that to happen. But I mean, it doesn't actually benefit anybody by doing those requests. I mean, we also get them in support, Dani, to your surprise. Requests for brawlers, requests for legendaries mainly, and skins occasionally. But here's the deal. I've seen a lot of tickets where there are codes put in, random codes. Give Leon, give brawler, Leon, semicolon, / something rather, bunch of numbers and letters. I don't know. And they don't mean anything, and they don't go anywhere, and they don't do anything, but just seems to just, like it happens so much, and it's across languages, just everybody just thinking these codes will work, and I'm here to tell you that they do not work at all, ever have, never will. So like brawlers, skins, don't ask Dani, don't ask Ryan or Frank. don't ask support if you can help it, because there's not much we can do. There's no system that registers, oh, this guy's requesting a brawler, let me just give you one. Yeah, like there's no procedure around that, and the answer is always going to be no.
Yeah, sometimes of course, like content creators are hungry for more views and subscribers, so they kind of make those videos to like, because of course, like if you say easy way to get a legendary, you get views, or like you think you would. It's like a clickbait, a dirty clickbait. So
I've also seen a lot of videos that have been reported to me as the source of generating lots of ticket requests. Oh, not ticket requests. Sorry, brawler requests or item requests, and yeah, like those guys are the bad eggs in the community, I guess you call them. Yeah, like just doing it for the views and for the followers. So
and
I think
the biggest problem, of course, like with asking that, and it generates a lot of work for support where they could like be investing on helping players that actually need support. So that's why you shouldn't do that.
That's exactly right. So a lot of that goes into goes to agents who could be helping people recover their accounts, and feeding bug reports and other sort of feedback that we get from our players. But instead they have to sort of respond to these request tickets.
Negative gems. Why do they have this, and how can they? What can they do if they have negative gems?
So you buy a pack, and it doesn't get delivered for a few hours. In that time, you call for a refund, and then you get your refund back, and then the items get delivered afterwards. But then you've already had this negative amount of gems taken from your account because the refund went through before the items were received in your account. So that's how that can happen. And other times, double purchases can sometimes happen as well, and that leaves accounts in negative. And then, so like there is a threshold though, so we don't let accounts run free into the negatives, because that is just abuse of the system. And so there is a certain cutoff max point that I won't be discussing. But if you hit that magic threshold, your account will most likely get banned permanently.
Yeah, we don't need to discuss it because you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Oh, also, if you do find yourself in a negative balance by a little bit, the only real way to get your gems back is to make more purchases. Unless, of course, it's a case where the fault lies with Apple or with Google. Then we can step in and try to fix the solution for the players as quickly as possible.
So people have said on social media that after they purchase the gems back, that they still get banned. Is that due to the threshold that you mentioned earlier that they just hit before, and then after going through the manual process, they ended up getting banned eventually because they hit that threshold?
No, it's actually not. Most of those cases are very individual, and you would actually have to go and have a look at the account and check and investigate to make sure there's any grounds there and what those grounds are before you actually ban an account, because we take that very seriously. We don't want to purposely just block people from our games, but we do want a very fair and safe environment for our players. So, but on the topic of banning, there's a lot of things that you can do to avoid getting a ban. So stuff you shouldn't do is stuff like sharing your account with your club mates, with friends, with people offering to push services for you, like push trophies for you. Like obviously trying to steal someone else's account, like phishing, as we call it. Trying to log in with some account that is not your own and failing to do so, and then or trying to take over an account that is not your own. All of those can result in a ban, and often do. Stuff like being impolite, being toxic, bullying. We have a very strong safety team at Supercell, and they're very strict on the type of people that we want in the game. So, there's no space in the game for being impolite, for bad manners, for bullying. It's unnecessary, and we look to cut that out where we can as well. Fraudulent purchases. So this is like purchases through third-party sellers, websites, as well as sites that sell accounts. All of that stuff. Like we look for. Well, we don't often look for these things. These things come onto our radar by virtue of someone else reporting, or by them failing. Like a lot of our tests that we ask them for account recovery and things like that. But in general, I would say just don't fall for really obvious things like, like by clicking follow, you'd get like a free legendary or something like that on YouTube creators. Using codes in game, and just in general, don't give your account details to anybody.
Not even to us.
Especially to Dani. But yeah, to be frank, yeah, you just gotta be a little bit more assertive, like a bit more switched on about what you're doing with your account. And treat it like your most prized possessions as well.
Yeah.
Because you may lose it, and once you do lose it, it's very, very difficult to get back. So we don't want anyone to lose their account, to be honest. And we don't want people losing their accounts to other people. So just be careful out there.
Yeah.
Guard it with your life.
And there's also no such thing as cheaper gems. If anybody says they can get you gems for a cheaper price, it's not true. Don't fall for it.
Yeah, unless it's in our shop. And it's Yes, 4 times savings, 4 times value.
Well, yeah, the deals in game. Yes.
Yes. There is no third-party sites. There are no websites or generators. I see a lot of these. These gem generators.
Yeah. I get DMs on social media all the time, like, "You're a content creator. Do you need some more gems?"
They're all fake, or they're all doing something illegal.
Yeah.
On the back end that you don't know.
Has Supercell ID made any improvements or help to the support system in terms of account recovery, being able to see who owns certain accounts, being able to see account sharing possibly a little bit easier since it's logging in from the Supercell servers rather than like how it used to be for Game Center where you sign in on the device itself?
No, not really. What it does help is it helps players be able to play multiple accounts easier for our players. From the support side of things, no, it's made it easier to recover accounts in a lot of instances.
Okay.
But it's also brought along its own special set of rules that we also apply. But along with that, I would actually remind players as well to not share your Supercell ID and password with people, along with any other thing that may be asked of you to share. Because that's probably our number one cause of people sharing accounts or losing accounts.
So that's all the time we have today, guys. Dani, Chris, thank you guys so much for joining me. Hopefully this helped you guys understand a little bit more about the support system, how it works, and what you guys can do and continue to do to help improve Brawl Stars. So Chris, Dani, thank you guys so much for coming on the channel today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more content. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss any more Supercell content, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later. Peace out.